Welcome to Marketing with Vino, the edutainment business growth podcast, mixing education and entertainment to make growing your service business much more fun. Your hosts, Quinton Venter, online marketing expert, and Gabby Kowalski, creator of the Business Freedom Formula, have a glass of wine and share powerful and up-to-date strategies to help grow your service business fast.
Hey guys, this is Quinton and you're listening to Marketing with Vino with Gabby and myself. This is episode number 7. Welcome, Gabs.
Woohoo! Hello, everybody. It is Marketing with Vino O'Clock, which is technically Wine O'Clock. Welcome.
100%. What are you sipping on today?
Well, I thought I'd do something different. So if you've been listening to previous episodes, I've been drinking the same wine for probably too long. And so I thought, you know what, please the crowd, give them some variety. So today I'm drinking a Pinot from Tyrrell's Wines. I'm not going to lie to you, it's nothing I've drank before. I like it, it's lovely, it's quite nice on the palate. and yourself?
Well, seeing it's such a hot, beautiful day here in Sydney, I actually felt like something not white, not red, so I've gone with the rosé. Don't know much of it, but somewhere from France. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It is ridiculous. I'm not going to embarrass myself like that, but it is.
Give it a go. No, please do. I think everyone listening also wants you to have a crack at pronouncing this.
Okay, Francois Chauvenet. It is from. It's a company called La Julie, and a Grenache Rosé Vin de France. Hey, that's actually not too bad.
Very
So yeah, I'm sipping on that. It is lovely, very refreshing, and it's definitely something that's coming into the market. Rosé, I mean.
Bring it, yes, of course. You've been pushing rosé for a while. Anyone's listening, yeah. Quinton, it's like the guy at the very, very head of the parade, the rosé parade, holding up the biggest sign with the biggest smile on his face. Go rosé.
Wow. So a little bit of backtrack. We have reached over 500 downloads. So congratulations to you, and thank you, listeners. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been a phenomenal journey so far.
Yeah, we've been live for just under a month. We'll be just on a month, I believe, when this episode is launched. And really, really wrapped. That's super awesome to know that there's 500. There's 500 listenings of what we've been talking about. So hopefully there's X amount of people implementing and getting rocking awesome results. The other day I got a message from someone saying that they implemented episode 3. If you haven't heard episode 3 yet, guys, go and check it out. We were talking about productivity and how to get the most. How to get the most out of your business and the mindset shift that needs to take place. And so I got a message from someone saying, oh, wow, that was just the most life-changing podcast. I've been implementing what you've taught and the results have been phenomenal. This person has literally doubled their income in the last month. So well done to this person.
Well done. That's awesome.
And fantastic feedback. So if you haven't listened to number 3, there's a beautiful reason to do so.
So guys, this is episode number 7. Very grateful, very fortunate to have you all here listening, tuning in, wherever you are. If you're driving, you're walking, be present. And we've got something special for you. As lead up from the previous episode, we discussed how to fill your events. And in a way, how to sell on Facebook or how to tell your story on Facebook. And I had an interesting conversation just recently with a very good friend, and I thought it would be an amazing lead up. What would you call it? Yeah, lead up. Just follow up from our previous episode, and it's on the lines of the character you need to be in order to achieve to get success online. And so just to give you a bit of a background, about 2 or 3 months ago, I met up with my mate, and we had a discussion around what it is that he wants to do. And being a coach, he had this amazing vision and so full of passion, and he wanted to start online. And as most of you know, if you've listened to previous episodes, I don't advise people to start online straight away, because there's certain things that you need to do offline first. You need to swim in a small pool first before you go and jump into the bigger ocean. So we started discussing some strategies, and some simple strategies that we put forward was for him to become the authority in his market. And the greatest and easiest way to do that is to go and interview other great authorities in the same market and just be amongst them. So Gabby explained that there is four characters that
how much wine did you drink already?
There's a couple of sips. And so the four characters for you to be, in a sense, or to create a following. And one of them is the interviewer, is the person that goes out and does all of this research and brings that back to base camp and shares that stories. And just for the fact of being part of the greater gurus and being amongst them, this person is then being perceived as the authority. So we've put out that strategy. It's for him to go and interview a few great people and to start sharing that organically through Facebook. And alongside that, create a group where we can really nurture his community. Now, moving on from there, we had an amazing conversation recently where he informed me of the next steps that he's been doing, and he started running Facebook ads on his own, and he started looking at creating landing pages and opt-in pages. And I congratulated him because it's a great step. It's an amazing journey once you start with it. But I questioned his reasoning for doing it, if he was really ready for it. And as we started discussing it, it became clear to me, and I'm going to use this quote from my partner because she deserves it. It came across that he was whoring himself out on Facebook to make a quick buck. And since she put it that way, it just clicked to me that is it. Yes, that is why most people are struggling to make a success online, is because they're focusing on the short term. How can I turn this person reading my blog into a lead? They're already thinking about the next step. Not as much showing their market that they love them or being consistent. They're not that character. They're thinking from a desperate mindset where it is, great, my market wants to read this article. What is the next step? So they already start planning out the 3 or 4 steps after that, which is your opt-in page and your follow-up sequence and this and that, when they forgot the main essence of really showing the market that they need to love him. And
to quote M, by the way, it's M, big shout out to M, Quinton's partner. To quote M, are you whoring yourself on Facebook?
To make a quick buck.
To make a quick buck.
Yeah,
and ultimately there's nothing wrong with having a funnel in place, because we do need to have a structure to our education-based marketing. However, the intention has to come from a place of, I actually authentically want to help my market, not let's be really clever, and use education marketing to get more people. When it's done with your head and not your heart, it absolutely reeks of sly, used car salesman. Yeah. When it's done from heart, using a marketing strategy that there's certain things you need to do with education-based marketing to have it bring you clientele. When it's done from heart, it's effortless, it flows, it has a lovely energy to it.
Yeah, you get pumped up doing it. So you really want to go for it. And to give you even more insight, he actually spent money on running Facebook ads without any luck. And I mean, it has been his trial run at the very first go. But the fact is, he is coming from a place not having the actual money to back up his investment into advertising, and the money that he's actually spending on that could be spent better elsewhere. And so we had this amazing conversation and great realizations that he's made as well, where my advice would be, my advice was to him from my own personal journey is, I went and I got a job that looked after all of my needs, that looked after all of my basics, so that when I'm truly in line with my passion, with my why, in wanting to inspire and empower people and their capabilities to achieve their dreams, that is my big why. Since I'm so in tune with that, I can live that each and every day. Like my work doesn't affect that, and yet it allowed me to take care of the necessities. And since then, it has shifted my business from not having to be desperate and think like, shit, yes, I can keep giving, but essentially, when am I going to get paid? I never had that fear anymore. So that allowed me just to constantly keep on giving the love. And you know what? When you put love out there and you put amazing content out there, eventually someone turns around and saying, hey, dude, that's pretty cool. Can you help me with that? Without you having to think of a smart way and the latest way and the best way to drive this person into the next stage or the next step, and collecting their email address and following up with them and all of these other smart maneuverable ways. You just simply come from being authentic.
Yep. Honestly, it is. I love that. And it's coming from heart, not head, that you want to be able to connect. And it's funny, Quinton and I were talking about this on the last episode. Ultimately, though, if you want to go online and use education-based content to market, which means that you do want to put, opt-ins out there, a lead magnet, and you've probably seen them, through your feed as well, through your Facebook. What's it called?
Yeah, the news feed. Yeah.
That's it, news feed. I did use the right word. You'll be scrolling through and there'll be something, some cool thing that you can have, but you've got to give them your name and your email to have it. Phenomenal strategy, provided the intention behind it isn't purely just how many leads can I get? It's not this like evil genius sitting behind a desk going ooh, ha 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 ha. It's you knowing that you've got some cool value to add to your market, that your market will benefit from the actual thing itself, and you're looking at using Facebook or using any form of marketing and advertising as relationship building. It's not about the quick buck. It's actually about building a long-term relationship. Some of the people that are going to follow your marketing won't do business with you for maybe months or even a year. I've got clients that come to me who followed me for a year before I've even spoken to them. And this is important to get, because if you are looking at advertising on Facebook and your intention is, I'm going to take the only money I have and invest in something on Facebook in order to get leads to make money, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because one, it can take a little bit of time for you to get your targeting right, for you to to get the message right, the opt-in or whatever it might be right to capture the right kind of clientele. Two, it's just the wrong attitude. It's the attitude of you're whoring yourself, you're prostituting yourself, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And you want to shift away from that. And I love this message, because ultimately, if you have the attitude of, I've got some cool stuff to share with the world that will hopefully entice them to come and do business with me or not, and regardless of outcome, my intention is actually to add value. When your intention is to add authentic value, the whole game changes. When your intention is to make money, you're going to be in your head about it, and it's going to come across cold. I was sharing on the last podcast episode that when I first went online, not understanding this concept, and coming from a corporate background as well, there was this kind of need to be professional and need to be really articulate and perfect, and there wasn't my character, my personality, my heart being worn on my sleeve in any way, shape or form. It was just the right strategy executed the right way, in order to gain profitability. And it didn't work. I mean, it worked. There was profitability, but it didn't work in the way that I'd love and intend it to work.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the connection wasn't there. It's all like Quinton was sharing on the podcast, and I love this metaphor. If you're at a party, you don't just walk up to a person and straight up say, hey, buy my stuff, or, hi, my name's Gabby, be my friend, or will you be my husband, straight up on the first date. You don't go in hard and close hard straight away. And a lot of people on Facebook are trying to do this. And I must admit, I'm 110% guilty of doing this in the past.
I think we all are.
Yeah. And the shift there, and I love this message, guys, is don't do what everybody else is doing, because they're not getting the results. There's so many people using Facebook and they're not getting results. They're honestly not. They're chucking heaps of money into it and they're not getting leads from it, wondering, what am I doing wrong? This is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. And my big thing to him as well was, even in your ad copy, the little bit of a text that you're writing to get people to either come to your blog or to take action, if you're coming from a place of being desperate, they can smell it through that ad copy because you're crafting a message being rational. You're typing things to make sense, not becoming yourself emotional to actually let your character come out. So rather than typing something as you would speak it, you're typing something that is smart and makes like a
calculated,
very calculated. Yeah, and you might get a few people to click on it, but really, are you getting the right people to connect with you? And I think one of the greatest things of looking for someone, or not looking for someone, all of these ads that are constantly popping up, that you're constantly bombarded with on Facebook, I think one of the key things that starts to stand out is if you're consistent with it, that your market would first want to know if you are consistent with your marketing, with your messaging through time and time. Because there's so many people out there giving this a go and they last 1 or 2 months because first they run out of budget or they lose hope. So come from a space where you're consistent with delivering over and over. Like this is a great story that Taki, I've been following Taki now for 3 years. Basically the moment that I've started this 5 years ago with the agency and falling in love with email marketing, I started following Taki. And Taki is so consistent with his post. And yes, he's got people looking after that, but he's consistently giving love, blog post after post. He's just flogging them out there. And now is for the first time in 3 years that I've actually decided, you know what, maybe it's time for me to invest into something that Taki is offering. So I'm going to his upcoming millionaire coach intensive, the 2-day intensive here in Sydney. So if any of you are listening and you want to come join us, I'll be there. Would love to meet you in person. But the moral of the story is Taki has been consistent in showing his market that he loves them over and over. And it's been 3 years since I've decided to take action. So don't expect your market to take action straight away because everyone is different until it's the right time for them, until they come to realization that, hey, cool, this is the next stage for me, where they are at in their business or in their life, for them to say, yes, cool, let's see what else you've got.
Yep, and this is the thing too, like when it comes to education-based marketing, which is what you want to be using when you're using Facebook, meaning cold, hard advertising, the education marketing is not a new thing. It's been around for quite some time, and it is the way that most marketers market these days. You know, yes, of course, you can put ads up saying 50% off and, you know, special sale on now. The truth of the matter is that's really only going to attract a very small particular part of the market. You know, at any given time, when you actually look at your whole market, if you were to draw a circle now with your finger, with me, as we talk, thanks, Quinton. Quinton's drawing the circle. You can literally divide the activity, the behavior of your market up into sections. Now, what's interesting is time and time again, you know, this has been proven in any industry, that on average, only 3% of your market is currently actively hungry, in pain, and looking for a solution. Meaning that they're Googling, they're searching for a hairdresser or a dentist or a mechanic or a Facebook advertising marketing guru or a business coach or whatever. Because they've got a problem right there and then, and therefore they're looking for a solution. Meaning that 3%, just get this, 3% of your market, you know, that you can help at any given time is actually actively looking for you. And I'm talking like this is the sense of, you know, like if you're, for argument's sake, if you're a personal trainer or a weight loss coach, you know, you'd think, but there's, you know, what do you mean that, you know, out of all the overweight people out there, only 3% are looking for me? Yes, because for the most part, only 3% of them either getting married soon or something, you know, having a reunion or something, you know, happening in their life, or just got diagnosed with some health issue. It's not all of them that are hungry for the thing right now and then. Yeah. There's another 7% of your marketplace that's open to working with you, meaning that you know, let's just use the weight loss metaphor. So for argument's sakes, you know, I got engaged and I just set the date, you know, but my wedding is not for another, you know, 8 to 10 months. Yeah. I'm not desperately needing to lose that last 3 kilos to fit into my wedding dress yet. I'm open. So if something was to come along and be enticing enough, I'd probably jump in now versus being hungry and desperate to do something about it closer to the wedding date. Yeah. Or another example of being open, to doing business with you is I have a problem. It could be any problem. I could have back problems. But they come and go. They're not every day constant. And a friend of mine comes over and says to me, "Hey, I just went and had this amazing session with a chiropractor. Wow, I feel phenomenal. I haven't had any pain for a week. Like, it's brilliant." And then I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I want to be pain-free. And if it's easy enough, I'll go do business with that chiropractor." I wasn't hunting or looking for them. Yeah. So this is where cold, hard advertising, guys, is only really speaking to 10%, give or take, of your market at any given time. It's the ones that are hungry or open to doing business with you. So if you're putting money into cold, hard ads, that are straight, direct, 50% off, 3-day sale, whatever it might be, it's only really speaking to 10% of the pool. The rest of them aren't even going to look at it. And I'll tell you why. Because the other three, there's another 3 parts to this beautiful circle that you all drew with your finger. So right now we've got 2 wedges in that circle. There's 3% and 7%. Now with your finger, I want you to draw another, which kind of takes care of about 30% of the circle. So 30% of your marketplace at any given time is actually in the later basket. So what's the example of this? Well, once again, I just got engaged. I haven't even set a wedding date. I do want to look hot on my wedding day, but we're probably not going to get married for another 2 years. So, doing something about the fact that I'm overweight is probably 2 years away. I'm in the later basket. Yeah. Or a better example of it is, here's John and Jenny. John and Jenny are in love. They just got married. Aww. John and Jenny just found out that they're pregnant. Aww. John and Jenny have a two-seater sports car. John and Jenny are definitely going to have to get themselves a family car. Quinton's laughing. John and Jenny are going to have to get themselves a family car. Now, they've just found out they're pregnant, right? Like, she's, 4 or 5 weeks pregnant. She's got heaps of time before this baby comes out. Do you think John and Jenny are in the right now, 2% finance deal on family cars, or are they in the later basket? They're in the later basket, They're in the later pool. They're going to buy a car that's a family car. However, they're not going to buy it right now because they want to utilise their sports car as much as possible. Yeah. So there's a whole part of your market that's actually in the later category. Then there's a part of your market which is in what's called the unconscious category. And that makes up about 30% of the marketplace, guys, is in the unconscious category. They either don't know what you do exists, or they don't know that you can do it better than the person they've used in the past. Yeah. Or they don't know that the problem they have can be solved by the thing that you do. And that's a pretty big pie. It's 30% of the people in your marketplace on average that actually are unconscious. They have no idea that, that they should be going to you. Then there's another 30% of that pie, which is the last 30%, if you do the math. Yeah. That's actually a big fat no. They're a no market. They're I don't want your thing, or I don't like you specifically. They're just a big fat no, and for them we should just wish them love and send them off on their path and not try and close them too hard. Why am I saying this? Because when you look at this, education marketing is the best tool you can use, because the majority of your market is either later or unconscious or open. They're not all red hot hungry, meaning that SEO, search engine optimization, having a website and having people Google search you is really only going after 3% of your marketplace, because they're the only ones Googling and trying to find you. Yeah. Education marketing allows you to bring consciousness to the unconscious, meaning your education marketing needs to teach your market, that you are the solution for all the stuff that they've got going on, or that you're different to somebody else because of X, Y reasons, so they don't think, oh, you're just another one of those. I've had one of those before. Yeah. It's the purpose of it is to teach people, and awaken them and to give them information to open them up to the possibility of working with you. Then there's a later basket. Like Quinton said, 3 years. 3 years he's been following Taki Moore, and And now he's finally actually going to one of his seminars. There's a whole bunch of people that are in your later basket. This is why you want to look at adding value and releasing content and using Facebook, for example, as an opportunity for you to build relationships and just to continue giving information and continue adding value, because 67% of your market is going to respond to that. Yep. It just takes a bit of time to get that working. So if you go in on Facebook and you're posting up all this cool stuff, and here you are, post and blog and vlog and whatever, podcast, whatever it might be that you're doing, education based, and a month later you go, well, I don't have $1 million yet, and you give up, you've got the whole thing. You've got the whole thing wrong. On average, it'll take roughly 6 to 8 months, for you to consistently keep putting content out there, for your market to start, for you to start having a flood of really high quality customers inquiring about you. Why? Have a look at what you do. Have a look at your activity. You'll see something on Facebook and it'll be great. But do you buy straight away? Do you take action straight away? No. Then you'll see it again. Oh, it's really good. Every time someone gives you value, it's literally like it's kind of making you trust them, feel more comfortable, and it's chipping away at your buying resistance, I guess you could say. Yeah. And that takes time. I watch other people do this. I've got clients using education-based content, and it's brilliant. So I'm watching them launch their stuff, and they're putting stuff out there. They've got like stuff flying everywhere, all over social media. And in the short term, honestly, there's little interaction with it. Yeah. There's only a few people liking it. Over time, it starts to grow, and I can see that people are following them, and then now they've got people following their stuff. Some of those people are going to follow them for 3 months or a month or whatever it might be. So it's about you understanding it's a long-term thing. Marketing and advertising these days, it really should be about a long-term relationship and maintaining that, as opposed to trying to get the quick buck.
Yeah, don't go whoring yourself out on Facebook.
No more whoring yourself on Facebook. Thank you, Em. That was a bit of a big rant on my part, but...
And it's so true. And I want to add to that with the ability of us using Facebook fan page, that everyone knows by now to have a Facebook fan page. It's the page that you can use to run your ads off. When you're running ads from that page, people will go and look at your page to see what you're about. I mean, what your company's about. It shows an image. And like your website, you want to think about how that page is being represented. And think of the analogy, your website and your page being like your home, and people coming to your home. And what is the first thing that you do when a stranger comes to your home? You would say welcome and how are you, and you will introduce yourself, and then you would go backwards and forwards. But because it's just a one-way engagement, at least go and introduce yourself. So I see it oftentimes on Facebook pages that people, they share awesome content and they share cool stuff, but they don't really know why they should be following this page. They don't really know why it's important for them to like this page, or even to consider this company or this person, this public figure. So my suggestion would be is go and create a post and welcome people to your page. You can pin it so it always stays at the top, and just tell them briefly about yourself. What do you stand for? What are you against? What can they expect from this page? Why should they be following this page? And just keep it very simple. It's just simply saying like, hey, my name is Quinton, founder of the agency. This is what we stand for. This is why I do this each and every day. This is why we get up. This is why the team gets up and work in the agency. You can expect from us daily, weekly posts on these topics. If you like it, please share the love. If you don't like the page. But if you want to stick around and learn more about internet marketing and Facebook and so forth, please stay around. So that gives you a rough idea of this is what people see when they visit the page for the very first time. Now, from there, you need to deliver on that promise, that if you're telling your audience who visit your page that you're going to be publishing posts daily, weekly, whatever it is, you need to deliver on that promise. And that's going to show that you are consistent. And it also, the law of consistency comes into play, that they just see that you're consistent with your message over and over. That builds up trust. I mean, if you're saying you're going to do one thing, delivering daily posts on this topic, and you end up not doing it for a month, that just shows how unreliable you can be, if you can drop the ball on something so small, what does that say about your agency on a larger scale? Now, the same goes on your website, and we'll speak about this in more depth later on. The website is also about welcoming people to your home. And if you've got your best friend coming over, you automatically know what it is that they love to drink, what it is that they love to eat, and you would most likely have that prepared. So if someone is coming over to your home straight away, the first thing you would say is, hey, would you like to have your favorite drink? Or would you like to have these snacks? You would already have it prepared. Now, what I mean by your best friend is you need to know your ideal client like your best friend, so that when they come to your website, you're introducing them straight away. Hey, would you like to have this 8 steps cheat sheet that can help you do X? Or would you like to know how to model your hair like the Kardashians without having to pay hundreds of dollars? So if you know that is what your best friend wants, then obviously it makes sense to put that on the front page and welcome them with that gift. So the same could go in your Facebook page, that in that indoctrination post, you could have a small call to action down the bottom, nothing big, but simply like, if you're here for more specials on this, or if you're after more cheat sheets, more hacks, more productivity things, more design templates, just click here and simply follow through. I mean, it's not pushing anything, but it is, at least it's there. And over time, people will come familiar with what you're about if you deliver on your promise, and they will eventually take action. If there's enough trust, they will take action when they're ready for it.
Yep, I love that. Brilliant metaphor though. It's, think of your Facebook page, think of your website page as your home, and your market as your best friend coming over.
Yeah.
And how can you make their experience better? What can you do to make sure that they're happy there? It's funny, I look at websites and, I'm actually just in the process of building my new website at the moment. Pretty exciting. I think it's really sexy.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be able to check it out at some point, listeners. Anywho, what I find fascinating is there's so many websites out there that, that if you were to look at their home, it's so significant, me, kind of like pretentious. Like, honestly, it's just all about them and how great they are and what they do. And, it's just pardon the French, wank fest. Yeah. Would you want to go hang out at someone's house that, you walk in and all they do is talk about themselves? Check out my new TV. Check out my new floorboards. Check out my new fridge. Oh, look at this light fitting. Yeah. No question about you. Mind you, you've walked in, you've been there for an hour and a half, and they're still, still telling you, oh, look, it took a while to get this particular wood, imported in from the rainforest of the Amazons, whatever. Still talking about their crap. Borefest. Our favourite topic is ourselves.
Yeah.
Our favoritist, and you could be sitting there going, no, I'm not that self-absorbed. I'm telling you, all of us, our favourite topic is us. And, your best friend's going to want to come to your home. Why? Because you're excited to see them. You've gone out of your way to get their favourite snack, get their favourite wine, get their favourite whatever. You greet them at the door with a big smile on your face, and you say, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? You're genuinely interested about them.
Yeah.
With your marketing and with your website, and with your Facebook and with all of that, you want to be genuinely interested in them, which is all, it's coming from a place of heart. It's coming from, with your advertising, it's all about them.
Yeah.
It's how are you, and this, here's something I think you would like. So with your opt-ins, with your lead magnets, it's actually going, what would my best friend, my market, I love that metaphor. What would they like?
Yeah.
I think my rant's over now.
Well, it also adds to it where people need to think about who they're speaking to. I mean, if you're speaking to your best friend, you're speaking to them differently than if you would to someone that's a stranger. And I think people mix that up often. And I used to do that as well, where I would speak so formal, so corporate to everyone. When over a period of time, you come to realize that you're human, and people people do business with humans. They interact with humans. They love relationships. So take it from the point, if you don't know anyone, if you're being approached by a stranger, how do you speak to that person? And once you've given your details and you've hung out a couple of times, your language changes, your comfortability changes, and everything around that changes. The way that you address him changes as well. So to give you an idea, there's 3 types of temperatures with the audience that will ever visit your website, or that will ever watch your blog post or visit your ads. And the 3 different temperatures are cold, warm, and hot. And at each stage of these temperatures, you need to speak to them at a different level, where people that are very cold, those that don't know about you, they don't even know that you can solve their problem, you need to start it with a problem-based headline. You need to simply like, have you got back pain? Have you got this itch? Just, how's this itch going for you? Suffering from this, struggling with that. Can't do your hair in the mornings on time. Like they've got a problem, or running out of time to do your hair. Like it's those types of problem that people will relate to because they're cold. Once they start warming up, and people that are warm are those that might have read one of your blog posts, they might have visited your website, they might have seen one of your posts on Facebook, they might have interacted with you a little bit, it might have been referred. Someone that has already heard your name, so they know that you could potentially solve their problem, but they're just not sure yet. You would speak to them on a desired outcome. So
they're your warm.
Your warm audience. Right. You will start the headline with a desired outcome. So you would ask them in the sense of, if the cold one was running out of time to do your hair, or not enough time to do your hair in the mornings, the next one would be, would you like to do your here's how to do your hair in 5 minutes or less. So you actually give them the desired outcome, the exact same content, just worded differently. And I'm going to bring this back to your best friend and strangers coming to your home in a moment. Whereas your hot audience are those that have purchased from you before, they trust you, they love you, they will buy from you again. They are people that rave on about you. You don't have to talk to them about the problems that they have, or you don't have to start the headline with a desired outcome. You can just simply start with a product by saying, here's the actual thing that will do your hair in 5 minutes or less, or here's the actual shampoo that will make that happen. So to bring this back to your best friend coming in or stranger coming in, if they're a cold person, you would ask them, hey, would you like something to drink? Or would you like something to eat? That is starting with a cold audience coming to you. It's a problem. Like, are you thirsty? Are you hungry? And that they relate with that. When it becomes a warm audience, you then say to them, hey, here's your favorite snack, or here's your favorite drink.
Have a seat. Make yourself at home.
Exactly. Have a seat. Would you like Coke? Would you like this? Would you like that? Would you like your steak? Would you like wine? Would you like some cheese? You already know that, so you can just offer it to them straight away. If they are a hot friend, if they're someone that you've hung out with for so long, best friends, raving fans, you're not going to ask him. You're just going to bring the cheese platter out and pour a glass of wine, because you already know them. Like it's just a given. Or you might pour them a different wine. You might bring out something else, and they're most likely going to try it. So that is how you speak to your audience, and that's how you speak to strangers on the street. You need to take that human aspect and still put that in place online. And I've had this amazing thought, and I'm going to share it here. It's actually the first time that I've actually shared this with you as well.
Woo-hoo!
That in the beginning with internet marketing, you could get away with the simple opt-ins where it is sign up to my newsletter, and then people sign up. Then it became a little bit tricky. You had to prove yourself. So it came like, give me your email address for receiving this checklist, ebook, whatever. Yep. And then it became a little bit more, and people becoming more and more sus. They wanted to give less details. They were happy to give you their name, their email address, their address, and maybe a phone number. Then it became so strict that people just wanted to give you the email address, not even a name anymore. They simply didn't want to have anything to do with it. They even give you a fake email address just to get the content. So marketers got smart, and they turned it around and been like, all right, cool. So now I need to validate that your email address is valid. So now you can actually receive the content. So there's all these different loopholes, and it started being something so simple, but you know where it's coming to? It is leading to becoming more human again. That you won't go to a park, you won't go to a party, you won't go anywhere and have a conversation with someone, and mid-conversation interrupt them and saying, give me your name and number for us to continue this conversation.
Gotta imagine.
Like who does that? And that's the thing, that's how we interact online. Before, it used to be when you wanted to go to the party and everyone you met is like, hey man, I've got this cool newsletter, give me your number and I'll send it to you. And they'd be like, yeah, here, awesome, I just get in this cool newsletter. after a while, because everyone is doing it, people started thinking like, shit, I've got so many newsletters.
And that's right. These newsletters aren't that great. I've got like 1 million of them.
They're like, every Bob and Jane down the road has a newsletter. I don't want to give it anymore, so I'm not going to give my details out anymore. Then it became to a point where they started bringing physical copies of the book to the parties. And they started saying like, hey, I've got a book here, give me your name and email address and I'll send it over to you. So people are like, cool, this guy's actually got a book. It's not just a newsletter, like it's something of value. And as time progressed, it was like people go into parties and it's no longer like, hey, name, exchange it. It's just like, give me your email address. And like, cool, here's a fake email address. Haha, I caught you out. It is a fake email address. You need to confirm it first so I can actually send you the right thing. So people are starting to get smart, but it's just Facebook is changing the interaction that we're having online to more human. So if you want to succeed, if you want to predict where Facebook is going to be in the next few years, they're going to become human. And that is what it's leading to. This is the first time that I've spoken about this online. Where
super sexy. Honestly, what a super sexy message. And it makes sense, like I love this. And if you're listening, I feel privileged to be a part of this conversation, because ultimately if you're listening and you want to really friggin' rock online, and let's face it, guys, if you're not willing to explore online and master online, you're in a bit of trouble. Any business owner on this planet needs to go online. Everything's happening online. You need to keep up with the changes and understand that. Have a look at younger generations right now. Their whole life is online. It baffles me. Like they're on everything you could possibly think of. There's Snapchat, Instagram. Their whole world is online, and they're not just doing a few of them. They're on almost all of them. Yeah. To me, in my mature, still young age, it seems insane to I don't even know how I'd manage being on absolutely every single platform.
Yeah.
However, this is the world these are your future clients. They're not going to change. In fact, it's probably going to get even more intense. And like Quinton said, I love this, that this is how it's shifting, that online is going to be the new inhuman, in person. That's the way that you've always our traditional way of communicating in person is now going to be it's going to be that you can have friends all over the world and have deep connections with them.
Yeah.
That's where it's merging to. It's not weird and kind of odd to actually have a best friend overseas and connect with them on Skype or some other platform, as technology advances. I mean, God, these days we've got holograms. I mean, Tony Robbins did Business Mastery last year purely by hologram. This is the world that we live in right now, where you can literally project yourself out as a hologram into a party. For all we know, 30 years from now, our kids or whatever, grandchildren, depending on your age and where you're at, are going to be attending hologram parties for all we know. And therefore, online is, I agree with you 100%. If I was to predict the future, which I can't technically do, I agree with you, Quinton. I think your prediction is spot on, that where it's moving to is that it's actually being a real person online, the personability, the true connection, the way you behave in society in person is the way you need to behave online to really succeed.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think that has been an awesome episode, and it's a perfect follow-up from last week's previous episode. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for yours. Oh, my God, I love the insight. Like, if you're sitting here and I just love that. That was gold. What Quinton just shared with you, I think, was phenomenal. And if you're sitting here agreeing with me, you're a smart cat. Which means that this is an invitation. To sum up, this is an invitation to you to be human. For God's sakes, you don't have to be some wanker professional in business to succeed. People are craving more connection these days, and want to trust you. They want to trust you.
Yeah.
Wear your heart in your sleeve a bit more. Be authentic. Be real. Instead of chasing the dollar, chase quality and exceptional service and experience, and chase giving real value.
Yeah.
And learn how to connect and interact online like you do in person.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. Well said. Well summed up. That is awesome. And just to quote Em again, it is stop whoring yourself out on Facebook for a quick buck. I'm going to put that in quotations. That is brilliantly said.
Love it. I think that's what the episode's going to be called.
It is. It is. Perfect title. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
See you next time, or hear you next time.
Hear you next time. Thanks, Gabs.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Marketing with Vino. If you enjoyed this episode and want to access the resources discussed in this episode, go to marketingwithvino.com and select which episode you've listened to.